that's the first, obviously, it was our first night of 2023, right? Yeah, 2023 before Daniela and I got married, and that was sort of the second event of the whole thing. So the wedding was pretty awesome, and having all of you guys there was a lot of fun. And watching my grandmother get danced on by Brandon was one of the best parts. And
it was a good time.
I agree. That's top life memories right there. Just
not for me.
Not top band memories, said top life memories.
Top life memories.
I might be one of.
Yes.
Like.
We played one song. We just played Shout, no?
Yeah, we played
one
Shout. Yeah,
song.
and then me and Matt played As Long As You're Here for Daniela, and but then we played Shout.
When did that happen? I don't remember.
Shout?
No, the other song.
Right before it, and then I called you guys up. You guys were like standing right beside the thing.
Yeah, we were getting toasty.
Yeah, I don't. I have zero memory of that.
My favorite memory of 2023 was when Taylor got married. That was the best memory I've had with the band. It was awesome. I mean, we all bonded in a way, and Cliff was very new in the band. I think he had just got accepted into the band, and I was really glad he was there because he deserves to be there. Looking back in retrospect, we can all tell it was the correct call, and it inspired me to get engaged. About 6 or 7 months later.
Well, obviously I got married. Daniela and I got married, and that was a blast. I had Beau and Brandon looking like Louisiana casino owners from the 1930s or 40s, and everyone had an awesome time, and so many people came, and marrying Daniela was just, a dream. It was an incredible time. Playing for over 7,000 people on St. Patrick's Day.
I think the epitome of what we were doing for me was the St. Patrick's Day show for John Martin's. Just, the fact that Beau was not there was a bummer, but honestly, that show was some of, if not the most fun that I've had with all of you guys. It was good seeing all those people. It was just like, wow, like we're actually like doing something right now.
After my wedding was the St. Patrick's Day show at that
won't be named either. A lot of places that won't be named.
And that was incredible because we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. I think the message said, show in the back alley behind
the dumpster.
The dumpster. And so I was wearing like an old shirt. We were coming off of like 20 gigs that month already, or not that many, but I think by the end of that month, there's like 23, 24 gigs the whole month. So I was just like, grabbed a shirt on the floor, needed a haircut,
several
shower.
Modelos deep. I didn't think it was going to be serious.
Yeah, let's go.
I thought it was like a joke of a gig.
Let's go knock it out. And then we show up, and it's like right out in front of Ruth Chris. They've shut down the road, and there's like a carnival stage. And by the time the last couple sets come, it's like 6,000 plus people. So even the difference between the first couple sets and the last two at the end, were just like completely different things.
I remember the main thing I was thinking about that whole time was like, it keeps getting bigger. I was like, what?
Yeah, I kept thinking the same thing too. And then we went on for the last set. It was just like as far as you could see down the road, blocks. Insane. The professor, we missed the professor that day.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember I sent you a picture. And you're like, you were by the poolside bar or something?
Yeah,
you're like, well, I was having a good time until you sent me this picture.
Yeah, I was writing my paper that didn't pass. Run through number 1.
Yeah, well, we got that. We got that thing now.
6 now.
Yeah, number 2.
Yeah,
5.
we got that thing now, baby.
Yep.
But when I think about the day, I always think about Brandon's video of Brandon was shooting at the floor at his pedal board and then shot up, and it was right during Bon Jovi's "Living on a Prayer."
Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You have a video that I like lifted, like I like screenshot it to hold on to it from that show, and you're like filming the ground of your pedal board, and then you like pull the camera up. It's still some light out, and some girls on some guy's shoulders, and they're all like, "Oh, halfway there." It was like,
Yeah, I remember.
Set up, they were playing that song on the PA.
The music video we shot at Bar Nancy was fun.
So much fun, yeah. That was such a good time because it was like, I always say when I think about that night is that we turned a Tuesday night into a Saturday night, with the help of everybody, Connie Fernandez and everybody that helped out with that night. It was so much fun.
Yeah, now it's been 2 years, so I can say it, but I was butthurt because, like, the people on stage wouldn't move out of the way.
Yeah.
I was like trying to get in the shot, and
Yeah.
like I'm just not in the video at all.
Yeah.
But you can like kind of see my hands.
But you're there. You're there.
To
and
your
you
jacket,
get
the
you can
Fila
see my
jacket.
you have individual cuts, and then also in the main shot, as I was editing the video, I was like, Beau's standing up behind me in the main shot. I didn't realize that until I was sitting down with the footage, and I was like, oh yeah, because if not, you know,
been seen,
yeah. It's hard to believe. Think about this. That show was March 17th, when we shot the video.
Yep.
So it's gonna be 2 years since that video in just like 6 days.
Chandler took the most copious notes I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
For that
Dude,
tune.
that dude was just like, it was funny. Yeah. And if you're watching this, Chandler, you know this is true.
Yeah. Shout out to Chandler Swirl.
Yeah, love that dude.
When we played at the Anderson, and after one of the songs, it got really quiet, and Rez was in the back, and he goes, all other bands. That's one of the earliest ones. And was it Theo Gwen? Who the said that? And yeah, that was one of those that just stood out with me because there was a lot of other bands there that night.
My earliest memory with the band is it was right in this room. It was when I auditioned back in September, I want to say. I think like September of 2022. And I just remember being really nervous to be in here. But that's changed, of course. But that was my first memory.
My earliest memory with the band was when a fellow pianist in town, Angel Perez, called me and said, hey man, you want to do this gig? We were playing at La Tropicale. It was July 4th, I believe, 2021. So that was my earliest memory with the band. We had a great show, good time. Shout out to that restaurant too, great beer.
My earliest memory with the band, I've talked about a bunch of them before, but probably the one that's the most significant is, long before there was a full group of outsiders, it was me and Brandon playing at a warehouse in Allapattah with no air conditioning in the summertime. And usually I'm the guy that breaks the strings, and Brandon broke the string that night. And so that's a memory for me because it was so ridiculously hot, but it was an awesome crowd. That's my memory, and a lot of fun. And we started talking years and years and years ago about having the band. So that was really our first night playing in front of an audience together. So that's a great early, almost pre-Outsiders memory for me of the start of everything. I remember when Cliff joined the band, I text Chandler and I was like, send over those notes that you have to Clifford. I was like, he's, because Chandler was here, and I mean, we had so many rehearsals with Chandler right here in this room right here, and this room is, I'm glad that we ended up shooting this here, ironically enough, after a crazy day, because I mean, we auditioned Cliff here, we had rehearsals with Chandler here. I mean, how far back does the band go? What's your earliest memory of being in this room?
Maybe August or September after that July 4th gig, after we started, if you guys got me in the band.
Yeah.
Because I was still going here.
Yeah. I remember very distinctly Clifford doing his audition here. I guess that's a good segue is to talk about Cliff's, time in the band. I remember Cliff's audition in this room, and I remember Cliff's first gig with us as Sundowners, and the night at Nancy. The night at Nancy, Brandon loves to talk about,
Talk
Cliff's
about it.
first
My
indoor
favorite
night.
No, Bar Nancy. But yeah, the first night of 2023 when Cliff joined the band, we got him. He was he was nervous and he forgot all the songs, man. And I saw the lights come up and then the smoke was blowing and I saw Cliff staring into the distance, into the black sea that is the crowd. The lights are really flashy and it's dark. You can't see past 2 feet.
So there was this one time we were playing gigs in Key West, and we showed up, probably got, 30 to 40 tunes in the bag at that point in our repertoire.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. 30 usable, 10 maybe questionable.
Yeah,
We still
yeah.
pulled them out.
Yeah.
And that night, I don't know what happened, but I had to play all the roots because the bass player just didn't know the changes, and it was rough.
Yeah, and you had to come back. We had to come back the next night. It's one thing when you get to leave afterwards,
One of the worst venues ever.
I think the
venues.
worst venue we ever had was at the Keys.
That Keys venue. It was a night. I mean, the stage doesn't even make sense. It was like shaped like a pear.
We almost got our cars towed within
Yeah.
5
Yeah,
minutes
I
of
forgot
pulling
about
up
that.
to that gig.
I forgot
If it
about
wasn't for
that.
Taylor, I would have got my car towed.
Just
Yeah, see, I don't
unloading.
remember that.
You ran in and you were like, I think they're towing cars out there. And I was like, I hauled ass because Key West is 4 hours away from Miami.
Yeah.
And they charge you an arm and a leg down there. Everyone knows.
Ridiculous, yeah.
It's like exorbitant.
Yeah, I remember that gig. It was so hot. It was like we had 2 back-to-back days in like June 23rd, 24th, I want to say, and then we were back there July in the teens for two nights back-to-back, and it was so hot. They did have like the air conditioning things on the floor, but yeah, that was. And then Brandon was sick one of the times that we went, like super sick.
Yeah, 2 days in a row. Both of those gigs, I was sick. I don't even remember much of that either because I was sick, and I was just having to block out the bass next to me. So I was like just not present in the moment.
Yeah.
Jack Dratch, I'll never forget, was playing drums with us at one point, and during that gig, I saw him watching football on the stage. And that was the moment I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, keep your head in the game.
For me personally, it really is the same way, you know, just kind of being able to talk about exactly what I'm feeling. This is, you know, in any situation outside of the band, you know, just being honest and being, you know, I try to be very, very direct. I think that's the fastest way to solve a problem is just, you know, get straight to what the problem is and find a solution.
We just kind of say how we feel, and I think we all know, like we've been playing together for about 3 years, so we kind of all know where each other are standing from when we say something. So it's a lot easier to just communicate and say what you mean up front. That's pretty much how it goes. We don't beat around the bush too much anymore.
I think the band overcomes challenges individually in different ways. For example, some people in the band are a little more analytical about music theory. Some people are a little more analytical about the emotional aspect. Some are more analytical about the songwriting process, the storytelling. Some are focused on providing the backbone, the groove, you know, the foundation. So I think as far as problem solving goes, if we're talking musically, we all have a different approach, and it's that symbiosis that really, really makes what we do very special. When Cliff comes together with Brandon and myself, and we're all there as a solid unit to support Taylor, anytime there's a problem, whether it's volume, harmony, melody, a random person in the crowd flipping you off because they're mad about something that has nothing to do with what you're playing, you know, we have different ways of doing it, but yet somehow we're always on the same page. I think that's very special about what the Outsiders do.
You know, I think individually, the nice thing is that everyone, you know, if you don't have a program in place, really, a self-program to handle obstacles, then, you know, life can be a difficult struggle. I haven't always had that, you know, but I think the nice thing about the guys in the band is they all have their own form of it, and I think that we've learned to work within those forms of how guys individually overcome obstacles, and we've learned to be sympathetic and empathetic to one another. And, you know, when there's a real foundation of love and everybody loves one another, then you give guys more leeway on, you know, different style choices when it comes to how not everybody deals with things the same way. As a unit, really, it's a pretty direct sort of, you know, we're really good at being direct with one another, and that sort of focus on direction that we all have of just making the music sound as good as it can and exciting and making you feel something throughout the night. I think that we can all sort of direct in on somebody's idea and focus on bringing it to fruition. So, and overcoming those challenges that are not music related are simply just, you know, also with the same directness of just, you know, hey, I wouldn't be talking to you about something uncomfortable if I didn't love you. You know, that's really how, unfortunately, some conversations have to start, you know, but it's nice to include that to let people know where you're coming from. We opened in the first 10 days, we opened up the Tin Roof in Fort Lauderdale and had about 13 shows there in 2023.
The Roof's been good to us.
Yeah, really good.
Those are some of the funnest shows, to be honest. And they're just easy. They make everything pretty easy as far as, like, you know, the stages are good.
One night when we did have an issue at the Tin Roof, it was corrected with ease, so it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, shout out to Luke at the Tin Roof.
Yep.
And we've had so many great nights at the Fort Lauderdale, which is like still not even a year old, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. We're going to be back there in a few weeks on April 19th. And, to me, I think because obviously we've been in Delray longer, Delray's been around longer, there's a lot more sentimental value for me in playing there because so many people we saw that were like bartenders or waiters, waitresses are now like management, you know, and they like come up and like say that to you, and you're like, damn, we've been here for a while, you know, like people coming and going and growing in that company. And Del Rey, so many, especially the last night right before Christmas was one of the best nights I feel like ever with the band.
Yeah, I saw a barback become a manager there, you know, on that comment.
Yeah, isn't that the best?
That's dope. You love to see it.
Yeah, you do. Comments you two about the roof?
Mark, the other sound tech. Thought I was gonna bring him back to your house for some reason.
Yeah. You text me at like midnight. You're like, me and Mark are coming back.
I did not say me. I'll show the messages. I said I was
maybe-
hanging out with. I said I was with
like,
Mark.
Mark, I was like, we just met Mark. You're bringing back to my house?
I trust strangers on the side of the road.
When Santa came on stage.
Oh, that's right. Santa did come on stage in
is
Fort
right.
Lauderdale. You remember that?
It was funny. He
Took
thought
his
I thought
pants
he was
off
gonna
and
stay
all.
up. I thought Santa was gonna stay up for like the whole song. He came up for like part of it, and he's like, "Okay, thank you guys," and he just left.
Yeah, Tennessee
He did not come
Whiskey,
back.
I think, right? Like for the first 10 or 15 seconds. And
Wasn't
then,
there a
yeah.
dude on stilts too?
There was, yeah.
Dude on stilts.
That was a fun night. But the night right before Christmas at Del Rey, when everybody was like hands up singing Santa Claus is Coming to Town, was like so much fun. And I had to leave the next day for Alabama, so I was like, man, that was like the end of my year gigging wise, and I was like, Jesus.
Talk about how the band overcomes challenges and obstacles both together and individually.
Oh man, I feel like I'm doing a job interview.
Yeah, Magic has always been really good to us, and I remember when it was the old location before, and you know, playing with Lucas Jolton and his band there and stuff, and so now to be like regulars there on our own has been pretty amazing. So
Shout out to Lucas Jolton.
shout out to Lucas Jolton. We
Who's
miss
that guy?
Lucas.
Oof.
Wow.
Got him.
Clip it.
Got
him.
I'm
Clip it.
putting it in.
Chad, is this real?
I'm putting it in.
Magic 13 is one of my favorite places to play.
Why is that?
I like the vibe. I think it's cool. I like that whole. I don't like playing inside very much, but
Yeah,
I
that
like
place is great,
I
man.
like
How's the
that-
beer?
I like the stage. Yeah, the beer. Yeah, it is.
Not bad, yeah.
I don't like beer.
Cliff doesn't drink.
Never.
Yeah, Cliff doesn't drink ever. He's not old enough to drink.
That's about right.
Anyways.
Cliff is the youngest old man you've ever met. I think he, from like the day he joined the band, he's just kind of been not acting his age in a good way. He's been like a sponge. He just kind of listens more than talks, and I think that's a good thing because a lot of 19, 20-year-olds don't shut the because they think they know everything, and I think that's a good thing. Just having someone who's a student, as we should all be, you know, of the craft if you stop being a student.
Cliff Dobson. Cliff is, I say it, you know, on stage every night. He's hardworking. He's hardworking. He's hardworking. And it really is the best thing to summarize Cliff on stage and off of it is that he wants and desires a life that includes hard work. Hard work provides purpose for him. And that's one of the early things that we had alignment with, you know, in our souls. And he's also one of the best big-hearted people that you'd ever meet. And from the moment that Cliff walked in the room, in this room, to audition, I was like, I love this kid, you know? And when my wife asked about me, asked me about him, and brings up his name, or somebody brings up his name, my first thought is, I love that kid. And he really has done a big part in completing the drummer that we were looking for from the beginning. His enthusiasm for music and to grow and to push us, you know, it's just been incredible. So I love Cliff a lot.
Cliff is, I said it earlier, but he's one of the most talented drummers I've worked with. And he's very young, and he's got a lot of work to do. But he's one of the most talented and natural drummers that I've ever played with. He just gets it. He lives and breathes music. He lives and breathes the drum set. And on and off the stage, Cliff, it's the same way in his life that he is with his drums. He lives and practices what he preaches. When he says he's going to do something, he does it. 99.99. I mean, you can put a repeater on there. You might as well. It's non-terminating. This guy is that hard of a worker. He's just a go-getter, a hustler, a young man who's married, about to be married in 10 days. He has a full-time job while he's an undergrad. I mean, this guy is at Frost, which is one of the hardest music programs in the country. It's very impressive. You know, he's just very impressive to me.
We should talk about the song that we're mixing and working on.
Yeah. We're in the process of mixing and mastering. Take It Out on Me is the name of the new single. Beau wrote all the music on the piano, and we collaborated together to put the lyrics on it, and have been spending a good amount of time with guitars and with drums and back and forth with Lucas and trying to flesh it out, I guess.
Cliff improvised the drum parts, got those fixed, and Brandon came up with
multiple times.
Multiple times. Brandon came up with new guitar lines, for the
Multiple
music.
times.
Like
It went
it's
through
really
a-
been
It went through a lot of changes.
yeah. What started out as us just recording together in Martin Barabano, shout out to Martin's office.
Yeah.
On that nice grand piano.
That was that's a memorable day for me. That's when we
It's
started.
just we've rested on this for 6 months, for a year.
Yeah.
And it's usually way too long to put out a product that rests a year, but there's something special about the track, and we keep holding on to it. I
Yeah.
believe in it.
Yeah, and I think that people are really going to like it too, because I love Me All Day a lot. It holds a special place in my heart because of time and all of that, and it's sort of the way it propelled the band in a big way. But the depth of this song is, I think you got to have both sort of songs in your catalog as a band, I think. But the depth of this one emotionally, and especially like the bridge and some of those professor little things you put on it, makes it just a really, really special song for me.
It's a good song, man. I don't know. It's something you just got to listen to for yourself. You can talk about it as much as you want, but the words don't really paint enough of a picture. It's something more. Just got to wait in here, man.
Brandon is really the first guy that I met that shared a commonality with me of, I'd like to have a band. I'd like to be in a band. I'd like to play shows, and with those early conversations long before we ever had a band, or what set me on fire to make me think, we could do this thing. We could really do this thing. And that's what you need, in music and in rock and roll especially. Rock and roll is all the unsung heroes of rock and roll. And it's a guy saying, hey, we can do this thing. I believe in you. You believe in me. We can do this thing. And Brandon was that guy for me, Before there was anybody else in the band, it was really me and Brandon's thing. And the spirit that he brings off stage, he's one of the quickest wits, one of the funniest guys. And not many people can make me laugh like Brandon can. And he's just one of the really, really good friends that you get to have in life if you're lucky, if you're a musician, and a guy you get to play across each night that you admire what he does, which is even less common.
Brandon is one of my best friends. He's just a classic character in my life. When I think of Brandon, I think of a guy who's happy, he's funny, he's a go-getter.
Brandon for me has been such a blessing to have, because I think I'm a funny person, and I think Brandon is one of the funniest people that I've ever met. He's probably funnier than me, and that's really something that has kind of helped grow our relationship. We joke a lot. It goes to on stage too. We have fun on stage. We exchange looks. Silly, and we have a lot of fun. I don't know. Every time we hang out, whether it's even related to music or not, I feel comfortable, and I feel like this is gonna be a fun time.
Just a wonderful guy, a hard-working person, and he's maturing, and you can see it. And to me, that makes me very, very happy to see him growing up and being. It's a pleasure to be in his life while he's doing that.
I mean, we got a bunch of Tin Roof things coming up, and we have things that we're going to be doing with Magic 13 to celebrate our 3-year, like I said. And we finally got the Kiwi is in the United States now, and she's behind the camera. Cliff, you want to take over?
No.
My mom married them today.
Yes.
So cool.
I got married today, basically, and Brandon's mom was she put the stamp on the paper, which is pretty cool. I got a picture to prove it.
Cliff's on the chopping block right now.
Yeah, I can't. I gotta watch what I say.
Yeah.
Let's talk about probably the greatest thing that happened. We can talk about gigs all day, but the gigs don't compare it to the professor got engaged to Amy in the last year.
Let's go. Yep, got pics to prove it, like Cliff.
That's right. Yeah, I got
In case there are
picture
any
proof.
doubters
Yeah.
for both of us.
Yeah. So now Morgan's here and Amy being here as your fiance now. And I now have a house that has a yard for the dogs. So everybody's moving along.
Brandon moved into his own place. He got a studio.
Brandon got his own studio, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
What else is new in this year,
What's up
B?
with that studio?
What's up? I need some studio equipment in
I
there.
have
Yeah.
in the back of my car right now 8 nice big.
Soundproof things? I could use one or two of those.
handmade. They're too heavy duty, like 2x4s. Or the frame, and they have foam.
Welcome to Facebook Marketplace, everybody.
Beau, for me, honestly, even before Beau knew who I was, I knew who Beau was.
He's like an uncle or a dad you can call. You know, he's like someone that's not too much older than me, but like old enough where there's like wisdom you can grab and knowledge. You know, someone that shares a lot of similar experiences but isn't like 40 years removed from them.
Well, the way we found Beau was so just by God, you know, through Lucas Jolton, through Angel. And from the first night that Beau played with us at La Tropical, he set us on fire, you know. It's what I always imagined Cold in July would sound like, or Unlock the Chain, you know. And the things he did, not only in the intense energy areas, but in the intimate sort of playing areas, he blew our minds.
A lot of people around here know who Beau is, and a lot of people I know, including me, look up to him, you know, musically. I've always thought, like, this guy is one of the best piano players I've ever seen. I tell my friends that still all the time. Like, I talk about, you know, how much of a blessing it really is to be in a group with this guy.
So there's a lot to learn from that. One of the best guys I've ever met. Someone you can talk to whenever, you know. And a master of his craft. There's only one person that's a doctor in this band.
It didn't feel like a completed band to me until Beau was, you know, in the band. I knew when I started rock and roll band I wanted to have a player like Beau, and I never imagined I would find somebody like that, and I found somebody that was even better than I imagined. And not only that, but his friendship off stage is priceless, and the way he values sort of old school values of loyalty and friendship and checking in with one another and putting time into friendships and caring about one another and, you know, saying, hey, I'm gonna be here, you know, I'm not going anywhere, I'm gonna be here. And I think that's what we've done for one another, and he's become one of the most special people in my life, you know, when at first I thought he was filling in for a gig on the keyboard, you know, and fast forward, you know, less than 3 years later, he's standing up with me at my wedding, so Beau means a tremendous amount to me. The casino, we played at the casino, which is really cool, just to say that that's on the resume.
Yes.
It is so difficult to play in a casino and not have a beer.
Yeah.
Because it smells like stogies the whole night, and you're like, man, I've got like this crazy buzz. I don't smoke cigarettes really. I do on a blue moon
Occasionally.
occasionally,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But when you're in there, I'm like, man, I really would like a beer. It's
Yeah,
so
the
tough.
coolest thing is the casino waitresses will bring you coffee.
Yes.
So like at 11 o'clock when we had an hour left, she's like, I'll bring you a coffee, dear. I was like, this is the best sort of, that's how little you know, the
Yeah.
bands ask for. It's like, oh, I love this place. They brought me a coffee.
Yeah. It's all the
They ain't
memes
bring me
about
no
inner menus. You know, you see like these nice 4 or 5 star menus, and then at the bottom it says like entertainer food, and there's like 2 options, and it's kale salad, and then there's like maybe some feta cheese with crumbles.
Yeah, that's it.
Some tofu.
Some tofu, and you're like, ooh, that's a hearty meal.
Yeah, if
I'll order
we got to
20
give
of
free
them.
food, we're only going to give stuff we're investing
Can I get 20 of
$11
those?
in. Yeah.
Can I get some of that fried spam you guys got in the back?
Yeah.
Can I get some congealed Vienna sausages?
I was about to say Vienna sausages. Okay, you're at the end.
Thank God.
We're going to get in the studio next month here at the Frost Music School and record all the stuff that we've been really honing since the band started. I mean, At Night in the Dark and After the Fire and Love Me All Day, Gone, Cold in July. You know, we're going to get in the studio and sort of hone those things together instead of, you know, everything that we've recorded so far has been sort of individually and then coming together in a mix. And so, but I think really the true essence of what we all do great together is what we do live. So to be able to cut the songs together live, and, you know, one of the best music schools that the whole country has to offer is, you know, it's hard to believe that when Brandon and I started, you know, in a duo gig in what felt like a storage container in Allapattah with no air conditioning, you know. So being able to work with guys like Beau and Cliff and, you know, you two, and Chandler in the past, you know, has really allowed, you know, street guys, you know, some access to the big leagues here. So thank you guys for that.
You're welcome. Brings the paywall down.
That's right.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
This knowledge is important, man. And like, some people pay a lot of money for it, and some people just have friends who know it, and so they don't pay at all. They pay with friendship.
Yeah.
And that's a much better cost.
We've benefited a lot, you know, and I think Brandon and I both know that, you know.
Yeah. If it wasn't for school, I wouldn't know how to read music. I wouldn't know. I mean, I could probably figure it out, but if I didn't have a teacher, at least there's some kind of school where you take lessons. I mean, I'm not advocating going to school for anyone in particular. It's my experience.
Yeah.
And I mean, I look at Cliff. He's thriving here, you know, too. It's not just me.
Yeah.
Almost everyone here that's serious can make it in the music industry. They give you everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've benefited from, you know, shooting this and shooting, I remember we shot some footage of Chandler's last rehearsal with us before we played at Guanamanas.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, we've been in this room so many times. So shout out to Steve Rucker, which we did in last year's video.
Best teacher at Frost.
And opening up his, you know, his little home here for us.
I never met the guy.
I use this room more than he does, man.
Yeah.
I'm really, truly in this room more than he is.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So shout out to Steve Rucker.
Taylor, there's not many people that work harder than this guy.
Taylor has been one of the closest people to me since I joined the band. Honestly, before I joined the band, you know, I could already tell like just what a good guy he was. Before I even joined, you know, he would check up on me sometimes, and especially, you know, after I joined, it just, our relationship really started to grow.
Don't get it twisted. By all accounts, Taylor is getting all our gigs and is out there working his ass off to make sure that we have performance opportunities and we have venues that we can go play.
He's like the motherboard of a computer. He's like, if you leave him on his own, it's just a motherboard. But when you start putting all these things like some RAM, the GPU and all that, it starts becoming, it puts it all together. He's like the glue, the motherboard.
As a friend, Taylor has always been there for me. He's been a great guy. He has helped me in ways that most people wouldn't even bother to take the time to do so. This includes calling weekly, sometimes daily, sending messages, making sure that I'm okay. Just a simple check-in sometimes. You know, most people, when they call you nowadays, it's, hey, I need something. But with him, it's just, hey, you know, I want to hang out, or hey, I'm just here to talk, you know, how have you been? And we're from the same cloth, really. We're cut, I think, from a very similar cloth, and so that is very positive for our relationship, and I enjoy spending time with Taylor.
Taylor is definitely somebody who you want as a friend. I don't know, he's always there for you, and he makes that very clear, whether, you know, if you need something, if you need somebody to talk to, if you need groceries. I know Taylor would buy me groceries if I asked him to. He's something like that. He's that kind of friend. You know, if I needed a couch to sleep on, you know, we've had conversations about, you know, super personal stuff aside from the outsiders related things, you know. And I feel like I'm really comfortable talking about that stuff, and, you know, I feel good about opening up, and he has great advice. You know, he's definitely helped me with a lot of things he said, just about, you know, stuff that I'm going through, that he's gone through. I don't know. He's definitely, he's a very warm person when you get to know him. That's all. Maybe not before.
Someone asked our least favorite venue and our most fun venue.
Least favorite, maybe.
Yeah.
That place.
I played it with you guys, but I'm
gonna bleep out the names of all the
places. That's one of the
Yeah,
worst places
yeah,
I
yeah.
played. It's not
Maybe
built
not.
for-
I'll see how I'm feeling. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no blows.
It's just
That's
not right for that.
Yeah,
It's not even their fault. The place just ain't.
and they're right next to which owns that block.
Yeah, true. Which
Shout
Yeah.
out.
I won't go that far, but
Favorite place.
favorite place.
To play?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I like Tin Roof Del Rey.
Yeah,
Del Rey's cool.
for sure.
My least favorite place is not the one on. And then my favorite place to play probably got to be La Tropical.
Yeah,
That
was
my
so much
favorite
fun.
place we ever played, and it was my first night on the gig. You
Yeah.
know, that stage was just, the sound was right. The stage was massive.
Yeah, and we were definitely, for being so young in what we were doing, like so early on, when I look back at a bunch of the footage, I was like, man, we were way more electric than we should have been in a short amount of time. You know,
we were killing it, man.
that was a great gig. I definitely remember that the clip that comes to my mind there of that night is that build up on Highway to Hell back to the course, and Brandon playing the guitar, and
Broke a string.
Yeah, I remember there's also in that video, I run over to you to just check in with you during that. And you and I like exchanged a look like night one. And when I look back at that video, recently, I thought like, oh, we were connected that night right away,
Yeah, I didn't know the changes to Highway to Hell. I was just sitting there playing like A and D.
Yeah, playing. Yeah,
That's about right.
that's about right.
That's about
That'll do it.
right.
I know.
Don't forget to go to E.
I can hear a little bit, yeah.
It's called AC/DC for a reason.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
chord they
ACDE.
use.
Clifford favorite and least favorite?
Favorite Magic 13. We played there a lot. I've had the most fun there. I played there with other people too. I think I just like the atmosphere there. The crowds are usually like it's hit or miss, but like we've had some really good crowds there, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
But even when there weren't crowds, I think the staff there really like us too. I think they're really nice. The management is nice.
Super nice, yeah.
I just like that place. As long as we're not playing inside. That too. They give us beer. I don't even like beer, but they
Drink tickets are appreciated for the boys.
Least favorite place? I'm going to say just because I think it sounds bad. I don't like the sound there. I have no problem with anything else, really. It's just I don't like the way I feel while playing there because it just doesn't, the sound kind of really, sometimes it makes or breaks a gig. If it's really bad, it can, I don't even think we played bad or we played bad there. I think it was just like, it's annoying logistically, and it's I don't like the sound.
Who put a 6-foot metal roof right on top of a drum kit? Slanted downwards. It's getting shorter.
Not the tin roof.
Same way off the stage, aside from, just the musicianship, I think the same can be applied to the personalities. We all are from different places. We all found our way here, and we've kind of just, come together with all these different pasts and, just kind of shared that with each other and made it, we've just become really good friends. I think it's super awesome.
A cohesion. I feel like we just have been playing long enough that we don't have to say things when we're playing to kind of know what's going on. Like sonically, especially. I'll hear what the other guys are playing, and we don't have to look at each other essentially because we know where our head's at. We've heard the parts enough times to know where we're at and where we stand in the music. So I think we're a rather cohesive group.
On stage, it's an emotional journey is what it tries to be. It's high energy, but it can also go to low places and try to connect with you there. But especially if you catch the last hour of it, it's just trying to show you that we're just going to keep taking it to that next place, that higher level, pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And by the time that we get done, we want to make you tired. And I think that sort of exhaustion that we try to admit on stage, we hope that it blends over you.
Taylor, to me, emphasizes a great storyteller and a musician who is a musician's musician, someone who can convey a storyline with as simple as 3 chords, but also can convey a storyline it feels like the harmonies are much denser, that the melody lines are much denser than what they really are, but due to how impactful the story is. I love his voice. It's come a long way. We're still working on how we're shaping our songs, how we're working on our melodies, and I think, to me, my favorite part about his vocals are that they're unique. You just don't hear people like Taylor around town. I can't think of a single folk singer in town that I know that has the same vibe. It's not even close.
What I want the guys to always symbolize is just rock and roll, brotherhood, love, and that connection that we have that's, most bands, they don't last in our area very long, so to be going into our 4th year I think that symbolizes a lot. And off stage, the guys just symbolize, besides my own brother, the greatest brotherhood that I've ever had. They symbolize trust and loyalty, which is almost impossible to find sometimes, and they symbolize strength, and then so much other things, so much the application of being, masters of craft, quick wit, humor. They just have contagious spirits, all of them in their own ways, so I think the band symbolizes a lot. They symbolize a lot.
Well, we got to talk about the MVP of the Outsiders.
Mrs. Davis, bro.
Miss Davis. We got to talk about what she does.
Yeah, the amount of work that she does behind the camera and in editing, behind the camera is a tremendous amount of work, but then the time that she puts into editing the photos, and she'll be like, I'll be going to bed or something, and she's like, I'm going to stay up, and she'll be editing photos of you three, and stuff, and it's like, I'm very grateful. Daniela believed, though, long before there was the Outsiders, which is the wildest thing. We started out here, I started out going out to open mics and stuff, and they were like, open mics, you had to pay $5 in the beginning to get in, and then once you got like cool with somebody or they dug your act, then you didn't have to pay really, so she was like believing then, like you're going to make something of this thing. And now just to have what the four of us have together, that's way bigger than what even our earliest ideas of what, you could do around here. So yeah, Danny is absolutely tremendous. So
shout out to Amy.
Shout out to
coming to the
Amy,
gigs.
bro. Shout out to Amy.
Shout out to Morgan for coming to all the future gigs.
Yeah. Woo! Bro, she's already been to,
Get out of it.
how many gigs has we been to, Morgan? Like 4?
I've seen the casino.
The casino,
yeah.
the Sandbar, Magic 13. Those 3? Oh, no, you've been to the Tin Roof too, right? So that's 4. Wow. Morgan's been to more gigs than a lot of people and Morgan's spent most of the time in New Zealand. Yeah. Y'all got to pick it up.
Yeah, shout out to Amber for like FaceTiming me during the gigs. That's the closest thing she's gotten to the gig.
Yeah.
The FaceTime.
Morgan during our gigs before.
We'll figure out when
it
Amber's
works.
going to be here next time, and we'll work hard on getting a date right when Amber's here.
Yeah,
we tried not to do this so you can like vacation,
Yeah.
Been left propped up on a table more than once.
What does that even mean?
2024 to me is big. It's got to be big. We're going to make it big.
I'll be married a week from today, so that'll change a lot of things. But honestly, it really won't, musically, at least for me. I don't plan on, stopping the trajectory that I'm on now. I just plan on keeping, that forward momentum, with the Outsiders and just in my own personal, practice and playing and getting better and just, finding new stuff, making new friends, keeping, the relationships and building the ones that I have now. I think it's gonna be a really good year for me personally. Like, in the past couple of years, it's kind of been like each new year has been my year. So I think it's just gonna keep getting better.
Working on new music and releasing new stuff. We have a lot of music we're working on and have plans to put out. So that's kind of the most interesting part of 2024.
Well, we're excited to have Morgan here from way down under, and we've been excited to have Amber here from way up north, and everybody's growing. Everybody's growing. Me and the wife have a yard now for the dogs and a new place, and are outside of Miami now, and the professor and Mrs. Professor Cornelius, being engaged is an incredible thing, and Clifford, in another year of school and further along in his process. It just, the family that I really told Brandon I imagined that we could have when it was really for a long time in the Outsiders. It was myself and Daniela and Brandon running around, doing duo gigs and Daniela taking pictures or something like that. I said, one day it might be the harder route to go, but if we go the route of, we're not going to just be a band of hired hands. We're going to grow a band of guys that really love one another. Even though that has been the tougher route for sure, it's been the right route and it's been the most rewarding one because I see our little, sort of family coming together in a big, big way. And so just growing closer together and putting out more music and doing new things and showing insane love to the things we've been doing for years and continuing to rock audiences anywhere that we go. I think that's always the goal.
I'd like to say thanks to all the people who come to the shows, who support our music, who have streamed the songs that I haven't even been on, but that I get to play, every night when we go to these gigs. I'd also like to mention, check us out. If you enjoy our music, check each of us out individually. We all wear a lot of hats. Taylor Davis has his solo shows where he goes and tours around the country every now and then. He just got back from one a few months ago. Cliff Dobson, upcoming cat in town. He's playing with a lot of different groups right now. He has a project. What's the name of the band?
Pudley.
Pudley.
Pudley,
Yeah,
baby.
check out Pudley, man. I've got a solo career going on right now with jazz music in town. That's like one of my main things, but I enjoy playing that music and the Outsiders music. It's a fresh perspective on life. And Brandon Rabi over here, he's got his own group, done a few things around Homestead area and in Miami, and we're all just looking to get better. So we appreciate you guys sticking with us.
No, I mean, I appreciate everyone who kind of just takes any kind of time out of their day to, come see us or listen to us or watch something that we post. We have fun because of each other, but ultimately also because of, the people coming out and seeing us and enjoying what we're doing. That's partially why we do it.
I'm just gonna name drop, I guess. I'm gonna shout out to Ambori Johnny. He's playing with us on the 22nd of March. Shout out to Daniela and Amber. We're gonna who else? Theo, one of the first guys that has ever come to a band show.
Sure.
He still will pop up occasionally,
One of the first guys to ever support the band.
Yep.
I love Theo.
Flex, the first guy to get us to sound right.
Yeah, true. Shout out to Flex Martinez, the legend.
We had no idea what we could sound like before that one night at the Anderson. Everything else was just us kind of putting it like together, but we I feel like we shaped ourselves around, we have a sound from that night.
True.
So it's an important night. Who else is there? Shout out to Rez, one of the OG supporters as well, from day one.
Yep.
And shout out to
That's definitely being not used whatsoever. My journey in the Outsiders is one that dreams are made of. What are the chances that you run into a guy like Beau Cornelius or Brandon Rabi or Cliff Dobson? They're not great. Nobody would encourage their son or daughter nowadays to get in the rock and roll business. But if they knew guys like Brandon, Beau, and Cliff existed in that business, they would probably encourage it a lot more because the whole journey could be summarized in just the brotherhood that we have and how much that we love each other on the stage and off of it. And the music that we make together is an incredible thing, but it's not the main thing. The main thing is the way that we feel for one another off the stage and the way that we've grown through ups and downs. Not everything, and when you have a band for 3 or 4 years, not everything is, sunshine and daisies. Sometimes it's dark skies and rain, and rain that just seems to keep coming some days, and you just have to, grow your love to the point to where you overcome those rainy days. And I think that we've overcome so many rainy days that's made us so strong. And so the journey's meant everything in the world.
After all this time, my journey in the Outsiders has meant a lot, including how to accept people for who they are, how to be a good friend and meet people in the middle. It's taught me how to lower my ego when I'm around musicians who might not have formal music training, and really accept the situation and open my ears and not my mind really to what's going on. Because when the mind gets in the way of the ear sometimes, when you're constantly thinking about music rather than really just feeling it and let it happen. And it's caused me, it's actually added a lot of peace in my life since being in the band. Another thing is that it's taught me how to be upfront with people and how to tell someone how it is without being offensive. And sometimes being offensive is necessary. And it's taught me how to stand up for myself, as a professional musician. There are some things that are okay, and there are some things that are not okay. And when you clearly start to define your boundaries with people and you tell them up front, it's much easier than waiting until they've crossed your boundary and when you haven't told them, and then they have to double down. It's just always more difficult. That's a life lesson I've learned with these guys. Taylor, Brandon, Cliff, they're all wonderful people, and I think that they mirror that and that they don't beat around the bush. There's not much in this band.
It's like understanding. It's like every step of the way, it's more about trying to understand things more and learn. I feel like the whole process as a band has been a learning process, because a lot of us, we just kind of came together and we're like, we're going to do this now. And we didn't know each other at all when we first started. So it's just been a big process of trying to get to know each other.
My journey in the Outsiders has meant so much. I mean, that's the obvious answer, but really, like, if I break it down, like, it's pushed me further than pretty much anything else, you know, combining, you know, the push that I felt from everybody in this group, added with the push that I have from school. It's really just I've been excelling personally, you know, behind closed doors, just getting better, practicing, and I feel like it's really started to come out, you know, in a public and live setting. You know, I like where I'm headed, and I like, you know, how, you know, everybody is kind of included in that, and I feel like we all kind of grow together.
I'm very grateful to my guys and grateful to my wife for all she puts into the process, and grateful to the supporters, and grateful to God to have it all, you know, because it's unbelievable that in this lifetime I got to have it. I just had to, on behalf of myself and all the guys, you know, I just want to say thank you to everybody that comes out and supports the shows, the people that, you know, maybe live far away and can't come out to the shows, but they support in all the other ways that they can. They buy a t-shirt, they like a picture that Danny took, or a video of Beau doing a solo, or me singing something, being erratic. You know, or they download the music, they download Love Me All Day, or they're referred back to At Night in the Dark from seeing us live, and they go and download Cold in July or something like that. Thank you, because if people don't come out and fill up the venues and buy beer and Rubens, then there's nowhere for us to play. So on behalf of all of us, I want to say thank you for supporting the band and our documentaries and our content, and for following the page. Tell a friend to follow the page if you haven't.
I wanna run to a place where no one can find us. I wanna sleep in a place where our love won't blind us. I wanna dream a dream that was meant for you.